cloud. So one of the things as we go through, we're learning about levels. We're learning about order blocks, if you want to call them that. Um, God bless America. Why doesn't that term stick in my head?
Fair value.
Not fair value gaps. That is one. I wrote them down. Market structure. Market structure, order blocks, fair value gaps, levels, zones, whatever you want to call them, price action, all that stuff. Entry methods, which she's going to go over again tomorrow, which I highly recommend, is every time she teaches that class, you need to plug in, because I swear it's like the more I listen to it, the more I hear like, oh, did she say that last time? Okay. It just helps you get a little bit better. For example, this last week when she threw out trade ideas, if you're reading the commentary on her notes, she was saying is, for example, SPX was up here, and she said if it comes down to this and retraces, right? If it retests this zone, then you can look for a call, right? In the middle of that, right? In the middle of doing all of that is, what am I looking at for price action, right? And I'm saying this for two reasons. One is for the brand new people. I want you to take these trade ideas and copy them and see what happens and take notes, right? That's how it's going to stick in your brain to get more gooderific. And I made that word up. It's my word, and I'm going to stick to it, right? So if you want to get very proficient, or in Forrest terms, more gooderific at trading, right, I think I got to get a t-shirt that says I'm more gooderific.
That's cute.
Anyway, if you want to get more proficient at trading, you need to push buttons and see what happens. It's just like going to batting practice, right? There's not one single baseball player that ever just walked on the field and started swinging and hitting home and just hitting the ball, period, right? You go to batting practice, you practice in the cage, you practice on the field, you practice your stance, you practice holding. You got a batting coach that tells you how to turn your feet a little bit more this way, how to lift your shoulder up a little bit higher so you can hit the ball. And not every single player has exactly the same stance to be a good batter, right? But they practice, 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 practice. And eventually you find out, if you pull your right leg back just a little bit and you turn your left toe a little bit to the right and you wait for that low outside pitch and you swing and you hit it, that ball's going to take off and hand around and head all the way out to right field. And by the time the guy in right field figures out where the ball is going, you're on second base. You're like, yeah, now what? Right? True story, right? And that's just practice, 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 right? And when I figured that out of being able to hit a softball like that, people love me. Like, there's no way that little skinny dude's gonna even get on base. I smacked the heck out of that freaking ball, right? Whew. Looked like it was going left field. It would turn the hook back to right field. Right fielder was like, oh man, it just went over my head, right? Hit one home run one time, which was pretty cool. That's because I think the wind was behind the ball. I'm like, I'll take it, right? So anyway, coming back to what I say, practice, practice, practice. So when you get your trade ideas, I know a couple of you guys are doing US 30, right? What I would do along with your live trading is take Abdullah's trade ideas that he throws out, just US 30. Don't need to mess with a bunch of other stuff. Just take US 30, put his trade ideas on the chart, and put some notes on there and say, okay, this is a trade idea from December 8th. And then tomorrow, I believe right around noontime, I think Abdullah does sort of a recap, right? If you haven't been on one of his noon recaps and you're hanging out with him, I would go, because he comes in and does some adjustments, right? Which is really good. So he sort of lays some stuff out today, and then he'll come in and he doesn't do adjustments on all 22 of the trade ideas he puts out. He usually does like, he always does US 30, and then he does a couple other ones. I haven't been on the call for a while, but he goes in and he does a little bit deeper dive on where you should get and where you should get in and where you should get out. Now, we all know, because we're learning price action, how we can take these trade ideas, but in the beginning, for the brand new peeps, you just need to get good at putting them on your TradingView chart, going over to your software, putting them suckers in, putting some notes down, hitting the go button on a pending order, and then just waiting to see what happens. Don't be so worried about, I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta win. The way you're gonna win is you're gonna see what happens, right? So I'm gonna explain this process. here. So hopefully this makes sense. Dorina, welcome. Jacques, Walia, Miss May, Dennis, Martin. I think I already said hi to Carlotta. All right. So this is and oh, by the way, you guys, if you haven't seen the show with called Landman, I think it's on Paramount. It is so good. You got to watch it. It's so good. It is so good. Anyway, I digress. Let me come back from TV shows. So this is a trade idea, and I went in and I set this up, and this is how I got really good at tracking. So along with putting the trade ideas on your TradingView chart. This isn't in your trading software yet. This is just on TradingView, right? You're going to come in, you're going to throw your trade ideas up on TradingView. This is going to work exactly the same no matter what kind of trade idea you're taking. If you're taking an stock options trade idea, whatever trade idea that you're taking, you're going to put it on TradingView and you're going to log in, you're going to put it in here, you're going to put some notes. So I came in here and I grabbed my little measuring tool thing over here on the left. It's called my long projection tool, right? Forecasting tool, whatever you want to call it. I always call it a measuring tool. That's stuck in my head. So if you hear me refer to measuring tool, this is what I'm talking about, either long or short tool. I'll try to change my language on that. So I came in and set this up, and you'll notice if I zoom way in on this, and I'm going to go a little bit deep dive because I want anybody that's, whoops, come on, be nice. Oh, I think I went too much. Minimize. There we go. Now I can scoot over. Okay. So you'll notice I threw my stop loss on here, and I did this on purpose because I visually want to see what the stop loss is. I put in my TP1, which is a scalp, which if I put this on a pending order for my entry at 45070, and if you go into Abdullah's most recent post, he's got the overview that he did. Then if you swipe to the right, you'll see his PDF that he's got all his trade ideas on there. If you don't know where to find those and you're trading US 30, ask somebody for help, right? Don't just sit off on an island by yourself. The only dumb question is a question you don't ask, right? So in his trade ideas, in his US 30, his entry was 45070. And you'll notice price is way the heck down here. But Forrest, why would okay, again, this is to practice and learn and track and measure. Practice, learn, track, and measure. Practice, learn, track, and measure. Practice, learn, track, and measure. Right, Boya? Practice, learn, track, and measure.
That's right.
So I threw this measuring tool up here, and you can get it in the general direction. And if I click on it, you'll see, don't worry about this stuff up here at the top because you don't need to mess with that, right? If you want to put in account size, you can. You're going to put your entry price in here, 45070. We're going long on a buy. You're going to put in your TP4, the farthest out TP, whatever that is, right? So this one in this case is TP4. It's a TP4 position. And then your stop loss. I always put in a stop loss. And the stop loss, I think, was 050, if I'm correct. Come on, thing. Slide over. Be nice. 008. I put 005.
45008. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, there we go. So in this, if this trade enters here and heads all the way up to 45,285, which is way up here, you'll get a nice profit in this move. That's a nice move. You'll get 2,100 pippage, right? That's a nice move in that move. Down here, you'd have on stop loss, there's 620, 62 pips. I think this is 62 pips. And on the loss side, this is 2,100 or 215 on the top side. So you got 215 up, 62 on the loss side. You've got a nice move on here. So why do all this? And then you're going to put a note over here, something like this. And you can call it whatever it's going to recognize. So you can call it Abdullah's trade idea 12/8/24, whatever, however you want to notate this so you know what it is, so you can sort of track it whenever it hits. This trade idea might not hit till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to hang out up here. The next thing you want to do Let me go find Trade Locker here and open up a demo account. And I'm doing this on both sides because I want people, no matter what you're trading, I don't care if you're trading, is this the right one? Got too many accounts going on. The reason I'm doing this is I want you just to practice and be okay with just entering trade ideas for the sole purpose of practicing and not worrying about losing. Let's see, US 30 on a demo account. This one will work. Okay, got about it. Can you guys see my trade locker?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in Trade Locker, you guys are in my way. I got to move you. In Trade Locker, this is your Trade Locker. This is if you're using Trade Locker and your broker uses Trade Locker. If you use Sway Markets, I think they use a little bit different trading software. You need to learn how to use your trading software. So we're going to look at this is Osprey, right? This is one of my demo accounts on Osprey. So, and the other thing that I want to point out is very, very important. When you're trading, anytime you try a new strategy or you move to a different market or different product, it's good to practice on a demo account and practice on a demo account that's close to the balance of the money that you're actually going to trade with. So if you're going to trade with, now somebody yesterday in the call on Saturday, God, what's his name? The DeFi-verse guy. Anyway,
Kevin.
Kevin Picaro. So Kevin said, well, if you want to change your mindset, trade with like $100,000 demo account. I completely disagree with that, right? Completely disagree with that. And I'm going to throw my two. You can do whatever you want to, but if you don't have $100,000 and you're out here thinking, oh yeah, I can do this and do that, it's going to mess up your mindset when you're actually trading with $1,000 and you're going to lose $1,000. So if you're trading with $1,000, open up a demo account for $1,000. If you want to do something else and take someone else's advice, more power to you. You're completely welcome. Nobody's your boss here, right? So US 30, right? This is my US 30 trade in this trade. And this is, again, this is where we're practicing to see what happens. Now you've got a Google spreadsheet somewhere, an Excel spreadsheet somewhere. So you're going to put this trade down. You're going to put today's date. You're going to put all the information in here when you took this trade. You can put whatever kind of information you want on the spreadsheet so you can track it. I chose US 30 here. I'm going to come in. I'm going to put my pending order up here, right? 45050, I think it was, right? 45 45050 or 070. Help if I read it's right in front of me. And then I'm going to put in TP4 of 45,285. It's a buy. 45,285. Right? And I'm going to put in my stop loss. 45,008.
008, yeah.
Thank you. Right? Now that I've got the numbers in, what do I want to do next? And whatever your account balance is, right, based on what you're trading, whatever balance you have in here that you want to practice with, based on how much money you think you're actually going to trade with, you're going to come down here and you're going to adjust your lot size. I personally recommend, right, you can do what you want to. Right now, you can see on this chart, stop losses here, pending orders here, take profits up here. Now you may have to adjust these a little bit when you start doing this to see where the entry is in relationship to TradingView, because sometimes 45,070 in your trade locker account might be 5 points difference than what is actually on your TradingView. And that's something you just have to practice and figure it out. You'll be okay. So just remember, sometimes you might have to add or subtract some points so that your actual trade entry here, the only way you're going to learn that is by pushing buttons and practicing on a demo account. So I've got this set in here. I haven't done anything yet. I've got my stop loss right now at 0.07 for lot size. Now the lot size is going to tell me how much money I make. Currently at a 0.07 lot size with a $92,000 demo account, if it takes off, it hits my pending order here and takes off and gets up here, that's $1,500, right? You can track this however you want. If you want to go to the TP1, TP2, TP3, or TP4, completely up to you. So I'm going to set my lot size based on what I want to win and how much I'm willing to risk on a loss size. This is basically a 2-to-1 here, right? Because 5, 10, 15, right? 2-to-1 on this. So I'm risking basically $400 to win 1,500 bucks. That's the goal here, right? You can choose however you want to. If you want to set a static dollar amount, I would, if you're brand new, just put the numbers in. Don't mess with that. And the only thing you need to adjust is your lot size down here. You can put whatever lot size you want in here because this is practice, right? This is practice. You can do a half a lot if you want, right? 0.5, change that to $10,750, right? Versus a loss of $3,100. Now, let me ask you this. Would you be okay risking $3,100 on a chance to earn $10,750? I don't know, but you've got to figure this is on a $100,000 account, right? So you got to understand the math. If I don't have a $100,000 account, maybe I have a $10,000 account, maybe I want to do a 0.05, right? So that I'm going to earn $1,000 and possibly lose 300 bucks. So here I want to I want to have a 10% win and a 3% loss. It's 300, 3% of 10,000. Am I thinking it right? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm doing the math right. Right. Yeah. It says 0.3 right here. So you've got to figure out what your balance tells you the percentages on here. No kidding for us. So I've got my pending order in here. I've got my take profit. Again, this is how you practice. This is all you're going to do is practice. And then I'm going to hit my big green button down here. It's going to enter my order. And it's going to pop in here to pending. Right? It's going to be in my pending orders down here in my pending order area. Right? It says pending order, buy stop. I love practicing with this stuff. Sometimes this is really, really cool. I've got my buy down here. It says my market. The market right now is at 44.6. The entry is at 45.070. My stop loss is in here. My take profits in here. Now I've got to do a set back and wait. My next step is to come over here and set myself some alerts on my chart. I'm going to come up here. I'm just going to throw an alert on my chart anywhere near my entry. It doesn't have to be exactly on the entry, and I'm just going to choose crossing up because hopefully it's crossing up. I'm going to throw a check chart on there. So when this bad boy takes off, if it takes off and decides, I'm going to come up here and my chart goes ding, 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 I'm going to check my phone or wherever you're at, depending on what computer you're sitting in front of it. I'm going to look at this stuff to see what price is doing and just take notes. And I'm just going to let that bad boy run. And when it's done, whether it goes into a stop loss, whether it hits my stop loss, whether it hits my take profit, if it turns around and maybe it hits to TP3 and turns around, you're going to go into your spreadsheet and you're going to note the date, the time, US 30, TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4. You can put yes or no next to them or highlight them in green, whatever you want to track so that you know how far that went up. And if it was a win, you can put a win in a dollar amount. You're going to track all that stuff on your spreadsheet. What you need to know, what time did it enter? You set the pending order up at 5:21 on Sunday night, but it didn't enter till Tuesday at 2 p.m. Right? So what time did it actually activate? What time did the trade activate? What time did it, maybe it turned around and it hit TP3 an hour later? That would be a good note to put on there. It hit TP3 at, 3:51. If it entered here at 2:51, it hit TP3. Then it turned around and it came back and it hit the stop loss 4 hours later. Whatever, track everything you do so you know. Next time you do this, if you do this for 8 to 12 weeks on a regular basis, both on the buy and the sell side, you're going to have some data that's going to let you know that every time Abdullah enters an US 30 trade, 100% of the time it hits TP2, right? So if you knew that for every trade that he puts in, whether it's a buy or a sell, that 100% of the time it's going to hit a TP2, what would be the smart thing to do when you're entering your trade in the trade locker?
Set it for TP2.
Set it for TP2 because you have data, right? You have the data. Look at your stop loss. Be okay with what you're willing to lose based on the account size that you're going to put in there, right? I'm going to hit stop share and I'm going to see if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions? Does this all make sense? I know I'm talking a little bit fast, but I just want to make sure that
Yes.
everybody's
Very
tracking.
clear. Thank you.
So exactly the same thing that you're going to do when you're doing stock options, right? If you're going to practice on stock options, you're going to go into your chart. You're going to put uh, your positions in, your calls and your puts. I got to change off of Forex. Boop, boop, boop. Back to stock options. You're going to put in your calls and your puts, right? Basically, a call is a buy, a put is a sell. You're going to put those in there. You're going to track those and you're going to put notes, right? And as they start to hit, you can decide, okay, it hit the call position. I still don't know what the heck a break and close is or a BART. I don't have any clue, but it hit the position. So I'm going to hit the go button on my trade locker or on my thinkorswim. I'm going to hit the buy button and I'm going to sit back and go, oh dang, it's going in the opposite direction. So you close the trade and you lost some money, right? The whole point of this is practice, 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 practice. Don't worry about losing. Don't worry about winning. Don't worry about looking good. The whole point of this is just to get a good idea on how all this stuff works. So when you start learning price action and you start learning your entry methods, then you can come back and take a look at this. Say, okay, I see what she said. When it had to break, it's going to break. It's going to retest that zone. Then it took off. If I would have waited till here to get in, I would have been okay, right? So let's see if we can get some examples on that. Give me a second. Let me find something. And we'll switch over to stock options. Oh, I don't even have to invent stuff here. Let's go down to the 5 minute. Oh, it's raining. Let me blow this up. Give me a second, you guys, and I'll do a screen share on this. And let me go back and grab her. Any thoughts? Anybody? Please don't be scared of cats. This is a safe space. Dorina, you doing good?
Yes, coach, I am. I recognize I got to practice, 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 practice.
Good, 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 good. All right, SPX. So on December 8th, she put in a trade idea. December 8th, December 6th, today's the 8th. She put on for SPX, she put in a call at 6095, right? That's this purple area right here. So let me go ahead and highlight that.
I can't see you yet.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So this was the options call zone right here, right? And this is where this can get a little bit funky. When you're practicing, right? She put in the call, it hit the call button, right? This was at 8:45, so 15 minutes in, it broke the call. You could have got in here and just waited around to see what happens on your Thinkorswim software, right? So this is the options call button. She also put a note in. It's funny, she put a note in. It's moving so fast I can't keep up. LOL. So this was the call right here. So typically we know in a call, if price breaks and it retests, it's going to take off. But what it decided to do on Friday was just do a little bit of consolidation. Now, once you learn price action, there's some cool little indicators of a U-turn, as I call them. And those cool little indicators, sometimes, well, there's a hanging man, and here's a, and of course you got a star right here, and you've got a spinning top. Like, how come it's not changing direction yet? If you go up to a higher time frame, it'll help because it'll take all these candles and combine them into one. But you got to look for little secret agent candles. My favorite little secret agent candle. Where's my right here? My secret little agent candles are these little boys right here. When I see, if we discount these ones here, sometimes you just have to sit on your hands and see where price is going. You got big candle, sort of a big candle with a big wick, big body candle, a lot of body candle, body with a spinning top, another spinning top, basically another spinning top. But these, you notice how they're getting smaller? It went really big, and it's a little bit smaller. 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 Then you see this candle right here? That's called my secret agent matrix candle. I just made that up. But when you see when you see consolidation like this, especially when you get a lot of resistance, it broke, resisted, broke, resisted, didn't go anywhere. I put in a resistance line up here, I have an all-time high up here. Price is just not going in that direction. It's just refusing to jump off in that direction. I'm on the 5-minute chart. I go up to the 15-minute, they're going to consolidate these. It's going to give me basically the same thing. When I see this little candle like this, where it's like big candle, big candle, big candle, big candle, big candle, uh-oh, something's happening. And then this candle broke. It did a clean break below this. If I go to a smaller time frame, I'm going to have a break, and then my next candle was my entry candle. This is where I got in on this trade. I entered a put, break and close. It was on a smaller time frame. Had a little bit of drawdown because it paused. It messed with my brain a little bit. It went in here and did some liquidity sweeping. It came in here, and then it just took off. And I set it up to exit at 50% of this candle. Why did I do that? Because I learned that. That's just the thing that I learned, right? It's something I learned how to do. If you want to have some fun with this, right? Oh, why does it always make me click it twice? There's a nice fair value, big, humongous fair value gap in here, but it's hard to see because there's a candle like right in this area. You'd have to go to the regular S&P 500 to see it. But basically, this is a fair value gap, right? One of the things that I've learned when trading is when I see a big mega candle like this, is 50% of this mega candle price usually always comes back to, especially if it's a big, huge jump. You'll see that a whole lot of times when you see an open candle where it just takes the heck off, right? If you look at that, go back and do some back testing, you're going to see price always seems to work its way back to this area. So that was my get out zone. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in here because I had a nice break and close. I had my little magic candle right here saying, get in, Forrest, get in. Did a little bit of drawdown, which was fine. Came in here, and of course, I had my exit plan. If my drawdown goes to a certain dollar amount, I'm going to close, just wait for re-entry, which I didn't do in this case. I just waited for it to turn around. And then this candle here opened below this zone, and I'm like, okay, it's running. And I just sat here and let it run. And as soon as this candle popped through here, it popped and pulled back a little bit. As soon as it popped, I closed the trade and I was done, right? Now, did it come down a little further? Yes. But look at it, it pulled back again, it came up, then pulled back, and then came way down here again and did all this kind of stuff. I don't care about this. This is my goal. Remember, in your trading plan, if you're new, right, as you're trading in your trading plan, as you're doing this, is very, very important to keep track of when are you going to enter. All right, enter on a break and close, right? Sometimes you can, if you go to a smaller time frame, it might look like a break and retest, but it did a little bit of drawdown on this side. So I did a break and close. My goal is either income or zone. That's when I get out. Income or zone. In this case, I got it at zone. Still made a nice little income, but I got out of the zone in this case, and I was done. Right. The hardest challenge when trading is to say, oh man, here we go. You could have got in again, right? It came up, broke this test, retested, came back up, broke, retested, came back down, did it again, did it over and over and over and over. You could have done this all day long if you wanted to, but that's not my plan for trading, right? That doesn't fit into my trading plan. Now, in doing this, I set up my options, and the reason I want to come back to this, if you're brand new and you're taking these trade ideas and you enter this in on Thinkorswim and you got in and you had a goal of saying, my goal is to take it to the next level, which it did. It went from here to the next level. This is my next level. You could have put in a fib pivot or whatever, but my next level was all-time high. So I'm going to put in a call. I'm going to enter right here. I'm going to get out of the zone, which it took a little bit of time, up and downsies and up and downsies, and it finally got up here, and you probably would have made a little money on this move right here if you took that as a call. All right. Anybody disagree with that? Everybody see that? Yep. However, if you didn't get out here, it would have came right back to zero, and then and then you probably would have ended up in the negative if you didn't get out somewhere up here above this area, in this area. If you would have got out up here when price was up here, you would have made a little bit of money. You just got to decide what you're doing. So in practicing your trades and taking trade ideas, you're going to log all this stuff. You're going to put some notes on your TradingView here. you're going to come up with your little camera and you're going to hit download your image. And if you want to take the link and copy the link and put it over on your spreadsheet, and so you can put it next to today's date on what kind of trade you took. And then she also had a call or a put 6095.
So you took a put, but not her signal, correct?
Correct. I just, boy, yeah, I use her stuff. Well, actually, it's same thing. Okay, disregard what I'm thinking. I'm not reading. I'm not paying attention over here. Pay attention for us. So basically, she had calls and puts off the same zone. I wasn't really paying attention to that. I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that she had her put at the 6095. I was simply looking for it to break and give me some momentum to head in this general direction, right? She put it at 6095, which is a good confirmation for me. But when I saw this candle, this price action right here, I was simply waiting for it to break this zone. You can see there's a clear zone right here. If you come up a little bit higher, right, we've got a lot of candles touching like right through here, right? Touch, 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 touch. We've got a whole lot of touches. So this is a nice little zone right through here. You can draw your zone however you want to. If you want to do a box like I like doing, you can do a little bitty box through here. Whatever's going to make your eyeballs see that I've got a zone. So I've got a zone up here. So it's just bouncing back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm waiting for it to break this level and come through. It's cool confirmation that she said this was a put side. I personally would have put a put down here if I was going to, this is just me. Again, if it opens, breaks below, if I was looking for a put, perfect put right here, right? Perfect freaking put. Click on the right one for it. Perfect put right here. Shoot. All day long, right? It came up, it broke, came up, it bounced, broke through and took off. If you go to a smaller time frame, this is right where I would have jumped down from my 5 minute to my 1 minute, looked at that 1 minute candle and say, hey, what's this bad boy doing? Let's go take a look at that real quick. And this is at Friday at 11 o'clock. Refresh. See that? See how it broke? Right? Closed. The next candle opened and took off. Perfect put right there. The question is what zone do you take it down to, right? Where do you take that down when you're heading to, I'm going to the bottom of this candle right here. That's where I'm taking it to. And guess what price did? It always tells you where it's going. Here, let me hit that up. Right there. Put, came down, pulled back, came back down, and went right through that zone, right to the bottom of that big candle. Right, so it came down to the 50% of the candle, pulled back, bounced off, broke through. This is my entry right here. Remember, I used my 1 minute for my entry. I'm not using my 1 minute for anything else because I actually saw the 5 minute breakthrough. Where'd you go, 5 minute? Well, it's looking messy. I saw my 5 minute breakthrough as a good break. And then I'm going to come down to my 1 minute to get my entry because I'm looking for that confirmation candle. I'm looking for this candle to open and take off. It opened and took off. And then of course I would set my zone down here or my income level, my profit. Maybe it might hit profit before it pulls back. I'm also looking at the candle. If I'm in the trade and it's running and running and running, and then I get a full stop like this, I probably would have just closed the trade. Right? I said, okay, I'm done. Finished trading. However much money was in there is fine. It did make it all the way to my zone, but I took my whatever my profit level was in here. So that's part of your game plan. Part of your trading plan is how do I enter? When do I enter? And when do I get out? Is it money? Is it zone? Is it levels? Am I going to wait for it to retrace? And am I going to be okay with it coming back to basically the zero income and then running back again and coming back down here and make a profit? I'm more into take my money and get the heck out in most cases than doing all of this, right? It gets a little irritating sometimes. So understanding this is practice. Again, practicing. So you set this up and practice. Say, okay, this is practice. She had a call up. She had a put up here as well, right? Same thing. When did I enter? Did I wait for a break and close? When did I get in? When did I get out? What was my strategy? Why did I get in? You're going to put all that on your notes when you're trading so you know what the heck you're doing, right? You've got to, in your brain, you got to look at the chart and say, this is my plan. This is what I'm looking for. You guys watch Lioness Special Ops? Woo, love that show. Love it. They had the season finale today, boy. It was like, ah, right? But you have these two sniper dudes. Dudes are cool as heck. Sitting way the heck up on this rock, just like blowing dudes' heads up, right? Just it was just like call it if you ever play anyway, got to be a military guy, right? And they're shooting these bad dudes, and it's just cool. But they hit what they focused on, right? They hit what they focused on. Like here's our plan, here's our agenda. They had this whole plan, like, okay, you guys do this, if you do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be over here, we're gonna watch you over here. They had a whole plan in place. There's no stuff until the very end when their plan was like, oh man, we're out of bullets, right? What's going to happen now, right? But you basically they had a plan in place to strategically go in and strike the enemy and do what they had to do, and they didn't skip a beat. They were all in sync with what you're doing. So the reason they got that good is because they practice, 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 practice. You're not sending somebody out into the field to take out a bunch of bad dudes that's never been out in the field practicing, right? So when you're doing your trades and you're putting them on Trade Locker and you're putting them in or on TradingView and you're putting them into Trade Locker, you're putting them on Thinkorswim, don't get so caught up. And this is the point of this training tonight. Don't get caught up in winning. Just get caught up in seeing what the heck happens, right? Practice on your demo account. If you open $1,000 demo account and you blow it, go open another $1,000 demo account. You can open as many as you need till you figure this out. Don't be like, oh, I blew my demo account, man. I must suck. Yeah, you probably do suck right now because you're brand new. All right. That's okay. That's absolutely okay. You're not gonna be perfect, right? Just practice, 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 practice. Practice pushing the buttons, practice putting notes down so it sticks in your brain. I entered here, I did this, and then eventually you're going to start to see stuff. When you start to see price action, like when I showed you that little funky candle, when you see one of those, I'm telling you, it happens every time. If you see a lot of consolidation and you got a lot of big candles, even if some of them are willy wicky, and then you get a little bitty candle at the end, that's like a stop sign, like fixing to move, and then it's like bam or bam, right? You just have to wait for that next candle. Usually if it'll tell you, you'll see it, right? You'll just be able to see and put a circle around it, you put a little heart next to it or whatever you need to, but that's your indication that price is getting ready to turn in another direction. The only way you're going to be able to see those is my favorite P word, practice. You got to practice, 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 practice. Don't just sit up and say, oh, I'm going to do. You got to practice. Sit down. There's nothing wrong with practicing 24/7, 365, pushing buttons and see what happens, looking at price action and say, okay, I remember something about a hanging man candle. What does it tell me when I see a hanging man, right? For example, look at that boy. I actually shared without talking yet. So see right here, ran right up, boom. There's your morning shining star right at the top of this, right? Shining star sitting right at the top. It came right up, it came right back up to a zone. It broke this zone over here, but it came right up. When you start to see this stuff, there's a pretty good chance it's going to turn around and come back. Do I get in here? Do I not get in here? Do I wait for the next zone? Whatever, maybe it's going to retest. It broke. Perfect example of a break and retest. It broke this zone. It broke the 50% of this candle. It came back up. Morning starred me, right? Is that the right word? It's morning star? Yep. Shooting star. Thank you. One of the stars. Funky candle me. It turned around and came back down here. There's a zone. I could have gotten in here and got out right here, set my get out right here, or I could have waited to see what's going to happen. And guess what? It broke all the way through again. It broke through, and now you could have waited for the retest. But I like this as a break and close. I would have went down to a smaller time frame and said, okay, this one just broke. It opened right here. When I see this, I'm in all day long. This is like, what am I waiting for a retest? This is telling me this one closed. Here, let me blow this up. right? I'm not waiting for a retest of anything. This was my retest over here. It broke, came down, came up here, turned around. It retested off this area up here, which is fine. But this is it bounced. It came here, it closed, and then it took off. I'm in all day. When I see this, especially when I got little bitty baby wicks like this is my give me the money candle. When I see little wicks like this, little wicks, I'm in. You don't miss this, you guys. This is money right here, right? This is money, 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 money. And again, are you trading at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? If you're not trading at this time, you're not going to see this and you're not going to take it. But just make note of this. Look for these little money signals when it breaks the zone. This clearly broke my 50% level on my big mega candle over here, right? It broke my 50%. If you want to get out your Fibonacci tool and put the exact 50% on here, still more, your Fibonacci retracement tool, I just eyeballed it close enough for government work. It works because, again, this isn't an exact science, but you see how many times price came here, it came back to the zone, came down here, came back to the zone, came down to this next level, the bottom of the candle, came back to the zone, broke it, came up, tried to come back up to the top of the zone again, retested, came back to the zone again, did some consolidation, came back to it again, came all the way down to the bottom of the candle, came back to it again. Like clue after clue after clue after clue, something is going on right here. Right? You guys see that? That's all day long. But then when you get the little money clues like this, where this candle say, next candle, I'm taking off, hand me the, what do you call it, the baton. It takes off, bam, right? That's a win all day long. Take it down to the next zone and just sit there with your finger on the trigger. It's either going to be zone or money. And like, okay, I just made my money all day long, right? This one's a little harder to see because you got to go to a lower time frame. But again, when it broke and started taking off, I'm going to have my 1 minute up, just waiting. I have my 1 minute split. So I have the 5 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other side. When I see that next candle, bam, I'm in. Same thing as this, just on a smaller time frame. You just got to know what to hunt for to get your entries, right? That's all you're doing. Same thing coming down here. I've got two spinning tops side by side, and then it comes up, sort of does a little bit of consolidation, and then it took off, right? Same thing here. This was a nice break. If I go to a smaller time frame, what am I looking at for a possible entry right here? Broke the smaller time frame. It probably gave me a confirmation candle, and it took right off. So there's a lot of different ways to enter. The only way you're going to get good at this is practice and take notes and look for stuff like this. Look for entries. Don't get so caught up on, I'm just going to do a break and close and I'm going to get enter. Okay, this broke, or a break and retest. This broke, retested this zone up here. It actually broke through this zone too. Did a little bit of slippage. It's called slippage. So you want to get technical, we could have put a line right across here like this. Right? Came up to this zone. It actually broke that zone, got a little slippage. And this is where people get a little bit confused. Like, but it didn't just touch it. It went through, gave some slippage. But look at this. Look at this slippage star right here. I'm just making up stuff now, right? Look at this star, right? Boom, it turned around and came right back. So once you start to see this, I was never a fan of price action because I didn't understand none of this stuff. And I always thought, well, what is she talking about? He got in here. I didn't see it. Well, sometimes you got to flip time frames to see this stuff. If I go up to a higher time frame, these three candles right here are probably going to make a spinning top, right? It's just math. These two candles here are probably going to do like an inverted hammer, right? If I go to a higher time frame, right? Let's just see for curiosity. I'm just curious. Oh. Oh, I messed up. Sorry, you guys. Let me blow this up. Right? Spinning top right here, right? You see that? A couple of spinning tops. So when you see a bunch of, now this would have been a little bit deceiving because on a 15-minute, if this would have came up and it broke and I saw this candle come below here, I would have missed this move because I'm not on a small enough, on a lower time frame. This one here was a nice confirmation that it was going in the other direction because I had an inverted hammer, right? Right next to a regular hammer, then I had an inverted hammer. So this was a good indication it was taken off. This was the 12 o'clock candle. What happened at 12 o'clock? on Friday to cause this bad boy just to head to the back to the moon. Then of course, I've got another star right here, right? I've got a star telling me, okay, we're changing direction, but I got a little consolidation and it still ran back down. Whoops. It still ran back down here to the bottom where I have a spinning top. Spinning top paused out at this zone and then it took off, right? So it's just looking for the clues, looking for what you need to do. Somebody sent me a message somewhere. Is there a question somebody had? I saw it in the chat, I think.
Hey,
Thank you.
Coach, if you have a moment, could you show me how to split your screen on TradingView real quick?
Yes, absolutely. You need to get a really big machete or a really cool knife, right? And just like my wife says, you know what? You're not in this, woman. So you see how I did that?
I can't
did
see
I do
the
it?
Screen.
Can't see.
Oh, see?
I
See,
can't
she
see
set me up. She set me up, boy.
You fell for it.
it. Okay.
So this little box right here,
Oh, okay.
depending on what subscription level you have, if you have free, I'm not sure.
I have a paid subscription. It's the first one
If you
though.
have, simply come up here to this little box, and the
Uh-huh.
more pay you get, the more of these you can get.
I
So
remember. Okay.
you can do it this way. Whoops, stop. Or you can do it this way, where they're on top and bottom. I'm not a fan of the
Oh,
top
okay.
and I like the side by sides.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
What I always like to do is I just keep my higher time frame on the right, and of course these are two different deals, so you got to make sure you have the same product on both sides. So if I'm trading,
Okay.
if I'm doing SPX, I'm gonna have an SPX over here, right? And I'm gonna have my say 30-minute on this side, and on this side, I'm gonna have my 15-minute. So
All
I've got
right.
50,
Thank you.
30 here, and then as I work getting closer to trades, I might take this one down to 15 minutes on this side, and then take this one down to a 5-minute. And
Mm-hmm.
then closer and get ready to get entered, I'll put this one on a 5-minute and then put this one on the 1-minute so I
Yeah.
can prepare my entry, right? And it's just
Excellent.
like a little dance. You just got to figure it out, and you're looking for your entries, you're looking for your candles. You're gonna say, okay, get in right here, dude. There's your get in spot. This is my favorite one right here. This is my favorite money one, is to see a break and close. I'm not waiting for a break and retest. I'm not waiting for all this stuff. It already broke. It gave me an indication I'm getting in. There's a little zone right here, but it just took off, like blew right past that, like yahoo, coming right down here, right? So cool deal. Did that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Any questions? Chalk, you good?
I'm good.
Good. Dorena, you have any questions?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right. So I would recommend for those of you that are doing stock options, class tomorrow is at 11 Central Time. It's going to be another basics class. Jump on that class, watch it, take notes, and then again, it's going to be recorded so you can go back and watch it a million times. And that's another basic class. You just need to put a circle around and say, I'm going to watch this a million times till I figured out price action. Once you've figured out price action, you guys, it will change your whole entire freaking life, because you can go look at anything. You can look at Bitcoin, you can look at any product you see, and you can start to look for those little indicators. You just got to figure out what makes it dance. You know, what news makes it dance? Does it, like gold? I think gold still every morning at 7:30 Central Standard Time does this little jump. Sometimes it's a big jump, sometimes a little jump, but it'll do something at 7:30 every morning, just like clockwork. Every single day, it does this little thing. It swings by Starbucks and picks up a bounce, right? So it's figuring out what your product does, figuring out what your ticker does, and just getting used to it. And don't be afraid to practice, practice, practice. Push the buttons, see what happens. Take notes, push the buttons, see what happens. Take notes, go to class, take notes, push buttons, see what happens, and eventually it'll all start to just go. Light bulbs will start just going boom, boom, boom. Bawalia was laughing at me because it took me forever to figure out what the say yes to Jess level was. I was like, what? And it was, sometimes some stuff sticks, and you know, you got the marbles aren't all connected and you're like, what? And so it'll catch up. So give yourself grace and give yourself time. Don't think that you have to learn everything in 15.5 minutes because one, in my opinion, that's disrespectful for the people that have been doing it for a long time and they're still learning stuff, right? So if you're a super genius, right, and you know how to cure cancer and you know fly to alternate universes and fight Spider-Man, then you probably don't need to be here, right? But other than that, give yourself grace. I truly appreciate you guys hanging out. This coming next week, daytime, we're still trading at 8:15 in the morning, and then Jess's class, and then my 5:45s, I'm going to be taking Plato's entries and talking about how to, as a basic beginner, what I just showed you guys, how to actually enter a trade into the software, practice for a little bit, and get good at just copying trades. And my whole goal with that is if you guys have somebody that's new that wants to learn how to trade, I would have them come and hang out on those webinars because that's going to get them interested. Then we can put them somewhere like in Jess's stock options class because once they get in her class, they're going to be hooked and they're not going to want to do anything else, right? Or if they want to go over to DeFibers, I don't care wherever they want to go, but our whole goal, at least my goal anyway, is to help people make money trading, right? And if you guys have some friends or some people that you'd like to hang out with, do that. The other side of that too is rolling into January, rolling into next year. I want to do some sort of group one-on-ones where if it's you and you know 3 other people, so there'd be a total of 4 to get on and pick out time frames rather than do like one-on-one-on-ones like I was doing. I want to do like more group one-on-one. So find you and 3 friends, right, that you want to trade with, get them introduced and say, hey, I'm learning how to trade. Would like you to come to class with me and get them in front of that. If I need to do a walkthrough with them to show them the dashboard, just let me know. We'll get you hooked up in that on that side and get them in here because I know that we know somebody somewhere could use some money, especially rolling on through the next 4 years. It's going to be a lot of fun. We don't know what the economy is going to be, but everybody that I know could easily use an extra $500 a week, if not more, right? To change their lifestyle. So any questions, thoughts, takeaways, inputs?
No, this was a good class for me to review again.
Cool.
Yeah, this
Miss
is
May,
great
you
because it's
good?
the light bulb.
Yes,
It goes off.
yes.
Very helpful. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
pointing out that about the little wick because I always miss that. I see it and then I'm not sure, so I don't get in, and then yeah. And the whole 50%. That was great.
And I think it connected. I think it clicked for me when somebody, I don't remember who it says, when you see a big wick, it's indecision.
Yeah.
Mhm,
He just told me when you see a big wick, it's indecision.
mhm.
Hello, Forrest. If the guys with the big money don't know what the heck they're doing, why would I try to second guess their indecision? So little wick, decision, big wick, indecision. Hello, right? Like, okay, 2 and 2 still equals 4, right? Sometimes I think we overthink stuff,
Yeah.
or overhear stuff, or whatever. We got a lot of information going in, and it's like, ah, right?
Mhm.
So I think that sometimes, and I think that's where it connected for me. Why it's like, okay, little wick, big money, right? Big wick, no money, right? So or at least it's even from that fashion. I probably just confused a bunch of people because when you see a morning star hanging man again, that's a whole indication that money's going another direction. So
Mhm.
you'll learn that, right?
Mhm.
But just think about that. So I don't have anything else. I wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys have any challenges like using TOS, Thinkorswim, Trade Locker, you run into any challenges like that, let me know where you're bumping into. I know both Trade Locker and Thinkorswim have some absolutely awesome videos out on YouTube
Mhm.
to watch and go learn how to use their software. If you just actually go to YouTube and go to their channel, put in the exact thing that you're looking for, it'll probably share you some videos on exactly how to do what you need to do for entering or setting stuff up. If you're going to use premium charts on Thinkorswim, there's about 1,000,000,000 videos out there on it from guys that are super smart and know how to use it. You can go watch some of those and they'll teach you how to use the premium charts. I don't use premium charts on Thinkorswim because I'm more of a scalper, But if that's something that you want to learn how to do and get really good at, by all means, go in and do that. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Well, has it been an hour already?
Yeah.
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Was
Wow.
having fun.
Wow. Didn't know I could talk that much. Cool.
Time flies. Boy.
Having fun.
So, anything else? Anything else? Martin, anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Flip over to next week on my calendar. That'll be a wrap for today. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Coach.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.